This week's gospel, we hear the story of Jesus' resurrection on Easter Sunday. This is a very familiar story for a lot of us, so the challenge is to try to hear it in a new way and not just write it off. I struggle with this all the time at Mass, right? I'll hear a reading from the Gospel of Matthew, and then they'll go into some story, and then all of a sudden it's the Gospel of the Lord, thanks be to God, and I'm like, I just missed it because I heard the beginning and I thought, oh, I know how the story goes. So try to focus on this story, listen to it, read it over a couple of times, pay attention to a lot of the details that are going on in there, because there's some interesting stuff going on in here, right? These women are going to Jesus' tomb. Why? They're going to go anoint his body because, on Good Friday when he was crucified, it was almost sundown, so it was almost Sabbath. You can't work on the Sabbath, so they had to bury him quickly, and they couldn't do their typical, burial preparations of a body. So they're coming on Sunday morning after the Sabbath day. Saturday's the Sabbath day for the Jewish people. After the Sabbath day, they're going to go anoint his body, which means they expect to find his body in that tomb. I don't know how they thought they were going to get the rock out of the way. Maybe they were going to ask the soldiers. I think they're going to figure that out once they got there. Point being, some of Jesus' closest followers did not expect him to rise from the dead, despite all the times he told them that he would. Right? And that's the number one reaction that people have to the news of Jesus' resurrection. Even the apostles, right? When Mary Magdalene goes and tells the apostles, they don't believe her. Right? She doesn't believe what she's seeing. All these Marys, these women, don't believe what they're seeing. They don't believe what this angel is telling them. Right? It says that they're scared and overjoyed at the same time. Right? They're scared because this strange thing has happened. We don't see people rise from the dead all the time. Right? And so they're scared about it. They're a little bit skeptical about it. They're not quite sure that it's going on. And this is going to be the common response of everybody. Right? Most people are going to be like doubting Thomas. They're going to say, this didn't happen. You're out of your mind. But it did. So we should try this year, as we're reading through this reading again, to be agitated by it, to be shocked by it, to be scandalized by it even, that Jesus actually rose from the dead. But it should also be this super familiar thing that we're like, yeah, I've heard this story before too. Right? It shouldn't be shocking for us as Christians that people rise from the dead, because that's our great hope, but it is also shocking that our hope is actually real and true, and that this isn't just some story from once upon a time. It's actually real history, like a story from history or a story from your life, from your past, right? And so as you read through this story, ponder and maybe share with each other, what about this jumps out to you as strange or odd or new or shocking? Because it's meant to be shocking in the most positive way possible.